All right, if you are watching this video, hopefully your plan is to learn about animal nutrition because that's what we're going to be talking about today. So by the end of this module, you'll be able to define nutrition, define ration, define diet, explain the importance, explain the importance of water, protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Explain the difference between fat and water-soluble vitamins, and then explain the difference between macro and micro minerals. So those are our big topics for today. So first of all, what is nutrition? Because our cow here and our dog here both need nutrients, but they need slightly different nutrients. So, nutrition is a proper and balanced food and water ration. Proper nutrition is needed to maintain its body so it can grow and reproduce. And diet, so we've got nutrition is a proper and balanced food and water ration. So diet is nutritional requirements, where a ration is the amount fed in a 24-hour period. So when we're talking nutrition, it's a proper and balanced food and water amount fed within that 24-hour period. They all kind of go in hand. The difference between diet and ration is ration specifically within that 24-hour period, where a diet is overall. So what they're getting long term. Different animals have different requirements, but they're still going to need those same basic nutrients. You're not going to feed a dog the same thing you're going to feed a cow, but the nutrients they're getting are similar, just in different proportions. So we are going to talk about micronutrients and macronutrients. We'll start with the macronutrients. First, most important nutrient is water. You've probably heard about how you can't live without water for more than 3 days. It is super important whenever you're taking care of an animal, regardless of the kind of animal, that it constantly has access to fresh water. Animals always need access to clean water. This is actually most difficult in the winter because water freezes, and the frozen water doesn't help animals that much. But water is in every cell of an animal. It is the most important nutrient. Makes up 55 to 65% of an animal's body and makes up 90 to 95% of blood, 72 to 78% of muscle, and 30 to 40% of bone. The functions of water in the body. So body transport. Water helps transport other nutrients. Helps maintain body temperature. For example, when you sweat, we have an evaporative cooling system, meaning we sweat, the sweat evaporates, that helps us cool. It also helps give body its form. If you notice, So one of the tests for if an animal is dehydrated is called the pinch test. And what you do is you take a little bit of their skin, you pinch it, and you see how long it takes for it to go back to normal. This can also be done with humans. If you take first aid class, they might talk about the pinch test. If skin rebounds and it goes back to its normal shape immediately, you're fine. But if it takes a couple seconds before that elasticity goes back, they're probably dehydrated. So that's because water helps give the body its form. Also carries waste from the body. When you pee or even when you poop, water exits. The next thing we're going to talk about are proteins. So proteins help break down, they don't help break down. The proteins are made up of amino acids. And there are two types of amino acids. Essential amino acids, which need to be obtained through the diet, and non-essential amino acids. The body makes them. The body still needs them, but the body makes them, so you don't have to get them through your diet. And what constitutes an essential amino acid and a non-essential amino acid varies by species. A dog does not have the same amino or essential amino acids as humans, or a cat or a cow. So you can't say this amino acid is always essential, this one's always non-essential. It depends on the species. So what do proteins do? They develop and repair organ tissue, help produce milk, wool, eggs, help develop fetus, generates enzymes and hormones, helps develop antibodies, helps transmit DNA. There we go. And in your post-quiz practice stuff, it's going to ask you questions about functions of different macro and micronutrients. So what you need to do is, not need to do, but what I recommend is writing some of this down. So if you want to write it down, just hit pause and you can record anything that I'm saying. So carbohydrates. We talk about carbs a lot because we eat a lot of carbs. Breads, sugars, all of that are carbs. And the reason why we eat a lot of them is because they're energy, specifically fast energy. So the types of carbohydrates are sugars, starches, and fiber. Fiber is not digestible by all species, even though it's still needed in the diet. So humans can't digest fiber, but it's still needed for different functions. You still need fiber, but we can't break it down and get energy from it. If we had more time, I would dive more into that. If we were still in school in person, we'd talk a lot about that. As is, just know fiber is not digestible by most species. That's why we don't sit and eat a bunch of grass, because that's super high in fiber. Carbohydrates, sugars, starches, fiber. So what carbohydrates do? Supports body function, produces heat. It's like when you shiver, that burns a lot of energy. And while it's doing that, it's producing heat. And if you have too much carbohydrates, it'll store as fat. Excess carbs become fat. So that brings us to our next topic, fats. They actually contain more energy than carbs, 2.5 times energy. But as I said, more of our diet consists of carbs. And if we dove into human nutrition, 40 to 60% of our diet are carbohydrates. Some people, they're higher, but theoretically 40 to 60%. Fats make up significantly less, even though they're more energy dense. The thing is, they're harder to break down. So we eat more carbs because it is quicker energy. As I said, they provide energy. They also aid in absorbing fat-soluble vitamins. We'll talk about vitamins momentarily and what that all does and means. They provide fatty acids. Which is actually what fats are made up of. If you break down fats, they're fatty acids. Vitamins. So vitamins are actually organic substances. And there are two types. There are water-soluble, which need water to digest or to absorb. And any excess that you have, that's just peed out. So if you drink a bunch of orange juice, which is super high in vitamin C, your body's not just like, I am super powered, full of vitamin C now. Things are great. I have vitamin C for days. I don't need to drink orange juice for another 3 weeks. False. Vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin, and you're just gonna pee it out. So if you drink a gallon of orange juice a day, you're just drinking a gallon of orange juice a day. Yes, it has other nutrients, but you're not storing that vitamin C long term. On the other hand, fat-soluble vitamins, they need fats to be absorbed. And excess fat-soluble vitamins are then stored in your body. So if a diet is too low in fats, increasing fat-soluble vitamins is useless because your body can't absorb those, it can't store them. Again, if we were in person, we'd dive a little bit into golden rice. Just a quick, for your information, dive info on that. There is a genetically modified rice that has extra vitamin A in it. Vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin. It also helps, vitamin A helps with sight, which it's in carrots, hence, again, we can dive more into that. If you take food skills, we will dive more into that. But vitamin A, since it's a fat-soluble vitamin, it needs fat to be absorbed. And so the purpose of this rice was to get farmers in third world countries to grow it, and then people would be able to consume the rice, and it would reduce blindness, and people would be getting all the vitamin A that they need. The problem is, these poor countries have a lot of impoverished people, obviously, who don't have a lot of fat in their diet. So, adding this vitamin A, useless. Not gonna help you. Last but not least, I think this is last, we have minerals. The difference between vitamins and minerals, vitamins and minerals are both micronutrients, but where water, proteins, carbs, fats, macro, vitamins and minerals are micronutrients. Just meaning vitamins and minerals you need in small amounts, micro means small, where proteins, carbs, and fats are macro, you need them in large amounts, macro nutrients. So minerals, in comparison to vitamins, are inorganic. And their main purpose is they supply materials for building the skeleton. Calcium is an example of a mineral. Potassium is an example of a mineral. They also produce body regulators. The two different types of minerals, there's macro minerals and micro minerals. Not to be confused with macronutrients and micronutrients, because that's talking nutrients as a whole. This is just talking minerals. So macro minerals you need in larger amounts. And those are the ones that you hear about and think about the most. So like calcium, potassium. On the other hand, microminerals, you still need them, but in a lot smaller amounts. Like you need small amounts of cobalt. Not much, but trace amounts. You generally are not going to have a multivitamin for like cobalt, but you will have one for, and by multivitamin I mean like vitamin supplement. They put both vitamins and minerals in them, but you might take an iron supplement because iron is a macro mineral. So that is a quick 13-minute crash course on nutrients. What you need to do now is go into Schoology, and then there's a practice quiz and a real quiz. So if you need to go back in the video, write anything down, feel free to pause things. You can do so. With that, I'll see you later.